Ever had like a home improvement project, go totally sideways because you picked the wrong contractor?
Mm.
Ugh, the worst. Right.
Oh, tell me about it.
So today we're diving deep into how to find those like diamond in the rough contractors, especially in a market that feels like seriously packed.
Yeah.
We've got these two really interesting articles. One's all about this thing called field service management. Sounds kind of techy, right?
Hmm.
And then the other one's got all these like battle-tested strategies for contractors to stand out. But here's the thing, even if you're not like picking out grout colors anytime soon, this stuff is gold
Yeah.
for anyone trying to make a splash in a crowded market, which, let's face it, is pretty much all of us.
What's fascinating is that both sources kind of land on the same message,
Mm, yeah,
It's not enough to just be good at what you do anymore.
right?
You got to be strategic, got to be tech savvy,
Yeah.
and laser focused on the customer experience.
Yeah.
Like that's the name of the game.
100%. And one of the things that really jumped out at me was this whole idea of specialization. You'd think in a crowded market being like a jack of all trades would be, the way to go.
Right.
But both these articles are like, nope, pick a lane and own it. Why is that so powerful?
Okay, so think about it this way. If you need brain surgery, you're not going to your regular doctor,
Oh,
right?
definitely not.
You want that specialist, the best of the best. And it's the same for contractors. When they specialize, they get to become the experts in that niche, whether it's like super efficient insulation or landscaping that uses, native plants.
Right, right.
And that's what makes them so much more attractive to clients who are like, that's exactly what I need, and I'm willing to pay for that expertise.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm curious, how does specializing actually like translate to higher prices? Is it just because they can get away with charging more?
It's definitely more nuanced than that. I mean, when you specialize, you're basically like shrinking your competition pool. It's no longer you against every other person with a hammer and nails.
Yeah.
You become the go-to for that specific thing. And that gives you some pricing power. Plus, there's just this inherent value that people attach to specialization.
Totally.
Clients just assume, and often it's true, that specialists have that deeper knowledge, more experience, and ultimately they're going to deliver better results.
It's like, sure, I could probably slap some paint on this wall myself, but this textured finish, I need the pro who dreams about this stuff.
Exactly. And you know what really drives that home? The source actually mentioned specific certifications.
Oh, like what?
So there's LED, which is all about sustainable building practices.
Right.
And then there's NATE, which is all about HVAC system expertise. When you see those credentials, it's like a trust signal.
Yeah.
This contractor's gone above and beyond to prove their skills in that specific area.
Okay, so specialization check. But let's talk about the tech side of things. This is where it got really interesting for me because one of the articles goes deep on this whole field service management thing.
Right.
And I gotta admit, when I first saw that term, I was picturing like spreadsheets and maybe a really organized toolbox.
Can see that.
But it's so much bigger than that.
Oh, yeah. Field service management, FSM, everyone calls it FSM.
Okay.
It's like revolutionizing how contractors do business. It's essentially a bunch of different software and tools all packaged together to streamline every single part of their operations.
So paint me a picture. How does FSM actually work in the real world? I'm picturing those home renovation shows,
Yeah.
but instead of a fresh coat of paint, it's like digital transformation.
You got
Yeah.
it. Imagine you're a contractor. You've got a million things going on, multiple projects, a whole team of technicians, scheduling nightmares, invoices piling up. It's a lot.
Total chaos.
FSM swoops in and brings order to that chaos.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you've got scheduling and dispatching happening automatically. So no more missed appointments, no more double bookings, and you can track all your technicians in real time. You know exactly where they are, when they'll be at a job, everything.
So it's like air traffic control, but for plumbers and electricians.
Basically.
And speaking of which, this ties into another thing that really stood out to me in the articles, which is that even with all this tech, good old-fashioned customer service is still make or break.
Oh, totally.
You'd think that would be a given, right?
Hey.
Just do good work, be a decent human.
Right.
But it sounds like that's not always the case.
Unfortunately not. One of the sources, they actually broke it down into these three main things: communication, transparency,
Okay.
and follow-up. And we've touched on the communication part, but that transparency piece, that's huge.
Yeah, especially when it comes to pricing. Ugh, don't even get me started.
Oh, tell me about it.
I had a contractor once give me this super vague estimate, and then the final bill was double. I was seeing red.
Ugh. the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is like the opposite of what you want. It's bad for everyone, your wallet, the contractor's reputation.
Right.
It's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Both articles were like super clear about this, detailed, easy to understand estimates. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
No hidden fees, no surprises, just a clear breakdown of like, this is where your money's going.
Okay, so communication, transparency, check.
Sure.
Check. What about that last one, the follow-up?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little, like, over the top?
You know, it might seem that way, but in a market where everyone's like vying for attention,
Right.
those little extra touches,
Yeah.
that's what makes a difference.
Okay, yeah.
Imagine this, the contractor finishes the job, maybe shoots you a quick email like, hope you're happy,
Yeah.
and then crickets.
Yeah.
Now imagine this, a few days later, you get a handwritten thank you note, maybe even a little gift card to a local coffee shop, and just a genuine check-in like, hey, how are things holding up, and any questions?
Okay, yeah, that second scenario, way better.
Right.
It's like, they actually care about getting my business and, like, want me to be a happy customer, not just rushing off to the next job.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of customer experience, that's what builds loyalty. You know, that's what gets people talking and recommending you to their friends. Ultimately, that's what leads to more business.
For sure.
One of the articles even mentioned things like, you know, loyalty programs or referral incentives, smart stuff. It's all about playing the long game and treating those customer relationships like gold
Yeah.
because they are gold.
Makes sense. So we've got specialization, we've got tech, we've got amazing customer service. It's like the trifecta. But there's one more piece of the puzzle here.
Okay.
Online presence. You can't just be amazing. You also got to be findable these days, right?
Oh, 100%. And this is where it gets kind of interesting because we were talking about contractors, right?
Yep.
Not exactly known for being like on the cutting edge of the internet.
Yeah.
But both these sources were very clear. If you're not online in this day and age,
Yeah.
you might as well not exist.
It's like that whole tree falling in a forest thing, but instead of a tree, it's like a perfectly tiled bathroom. And if no one sees it online,
Right.
did it really happen?
Exactly. Having a professional website, being active on social media, getting those positive reviews.
Yeah.
Those are your digital storefronts. You know, they got to be just as impressive as your actual work.
So what does that actually look like, though? Is it enough to, like, throw together a website with your phone number and call it a day?
No way.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about like showcasing your work?
Yeah. Yeah.
High quality photos before and afters are amazing. Client testimonials. You can even give people a little behind the scenes peek at your process.
Like a sneak peek.
Yeah. Stuff like that builds trust. You know, it shows people what you're capable of.
It's like giving them a virtual tour of your skills.
Exactly. And then online reviews.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Huge.
Let's be real. When you're looking for a restaurant or booking a hotel, what's the first thing you do?
Oh, I am all about those star ratings.
Right. We all are.
Yeah.
And it's the same for contractors. Positive reviews, that's social proof, right?
Yeah.
It shows potential clients that other people have had a good experience and they weren't like left with a half-finished bathroom.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got specialization, tech, customer service, online presence. But let's be real, there's one more thing that can make or break a contractor, and that is price. Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one. It's like that old saying, you get what you pay for. But instead of just like blindly accepting a higher price, you're helping people understand why it's worth it.
100%. And you know where this ties in really well? Those value-added services we were talking about before. It's about going that extra mile, sweeten the deal. You know, maybe you throw in a free inspection with every project, or you offer a longer warranty than anyone else. You're basically saying, hey, I'm not just trying to be the cheapest game in town. I'm trying to give you the best overall value.
Right, exactly. It's not about being the cheapest, it's about being the best, the one people can really count on.
Exactly. And this actually connects to another important thing the sources talked about with pricing. It's not just about what you charge. It's about how you're managing your own costs, too.
Oh, that's a really good point, especially in an industry where, like, the price of lumber seems to go up every other week. Keeping track of all that must be a nightmare.
Right. And this is where, believe it or not, technology comes back in.
Oh, okay.
Remember how we talked about that field service management software streamlining everything? Well, that efficiency translates to big-time cost savings, too.
So it's like, by being super organized, you're not wasting time and money on things like no-shows or driving all over town when you could be taking on another job.
Exactly. And those savings, that all gets factored into the price you can offer clients, making you even more competitive.
It's like everyone wins. Okay, so we've covered a ton today. I mean, we've talked about specializing, going all in on tech, becoming a customer service superstar, building your online presence, and even getting smart about pricing. It's a lot for contractors to juggle.
Oh, for sure. And it really highlights something crucial for anyone trying to, crush it in a competitive market, no matter what you do.
Hmm.
You got to be adaptable, always learning, always growing.
Easier said than done, though, right?
It can feel that way for sure.
Like, how are you supposed to keep up with all the new tech, the new trends, the new everything, while also, actually running your business?
Right. And that's where that whole growth mindset thing comes in. Both articles talked about this. They were big on the importance of like constantly learning, whether it's going to those industry conferences, getting certified in the latest techniques, or even just carving out time every week to read articles and like geek out on what's new in your field.
And it's not just about like the hands-on skills either,
Yeah,
right?
be cool.
It's about being open to new ways of doing things, new ways of reaching customers, all of that.
100%. The contractors who are going to absolutely kill it in the coming years, they're not going to be the ones stuck in their old ways.
Right.
They're going to be the ones who are embracing new tools, new strategies, always putting the customer first.
Yeah. So it's not enough to just be a good plumber or a fantastic electrician anymore. You got to be a tech-savvy entrepreneur, a marketing whiz,
Oh, yeah.
and basically a lifelong student all at the same time.
It's a lot, but you know what? It makes it exciting. It's a challenging landscape, but if you're up for the challenge, there's so much opportunity out there.
I love that energy. And you know what's really cool about everything we've talked about today is that it's not just for contractors, right? Whether you're running a bakery, building a tech startup, or even just trying to stand out in your current gig, all this stuff applies. Specialize, innovate, take care of your customers, build that online presence, price strategically, and never, ever stop learning.
So well said.
And there you have it, folks. Another deep dive successfully conquered. We went from leaky faucets to like the future of field service and hopefully picked up some seriously useful insights along the way. Until next time, stay curious out there.